And I'll always like that suspense. What's it going to look like? Is it going to look good? Is it going to look bad? Got to wait for this progress. And look at that. A couple that rave together stays together. What about version 2? Boom. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to iScale POD. My name is Zay, and today's video was kind of meant to be. True story. A couple years ago, I was trying to get the EDM niche, and you know I'm a template geek. So I was trying to figure out how to do this little technique that I saw on all the shirts, and I could not figure it out. I ended up quitting, never making the template, and now I go on YouTube. As luck will have it, Juna from Detour Shirts makes a video about that effect, exactly what I was trying to figure out a couple years ago. So I knew it was only right that I got to make a template for it. And shout out to Juna from Detour Shirts, because he's actually one of the inspirations that made me start this channel. And while I'm at it, Philip Anders as well, who left a nice comment keeping me motivated. Much appreciated. These two guys, big inspiration. So respect. All right. Now, with that said, I want to show you how good this template came out. Probably one of my favorite templates, hands down. Let's go. All right, so we start here with the template. Never seen my videos before with power templates. What's cool about this is that the work is already done with the effect that you see, and then you can go and click on the smart object. And what we can do here is we can make quick changes, and there you go. So once you make the changes, this is your canvas. Now we're going to hit Control S, save the smart object, and look what's going to happen. It's going to be beautiful. You're never going to have to work on the effect again. You could just focus on the design. So saving you a whole bunch of time, and this is going to get even easier as it goes. Watch. Boom. Just like that, we now have the design. We changed the contents of it, and it kept that effect. Now, here's a real cool thing that this template has. So I noticed that sometimes the effect will be stronger and other times weaker. So I made a few versions of it. So the left to right version, V3, as you see right here, that's the most common version, right? But if I turn this off and turn on V1, we're going to see how much more extreme it is. So you make a decision between these, which one you want to use. And this one is very extreme. But if you have bigger objects in your design, this one might be more. But it's going to all depend on the design itself on which one you're going to want to use. So this one seems too extreme. Let's go to V2. You see it's a little less extreme, a little more contained. You have this option as well. V3 was the original one that I believe is the most common that you see, regular effect. Then we go down to V4. It's a little more subtle. As you can see, now it's more contained and it's not as chaotic. And then V5 will be the one that's the most contained. If you back up enough, it's that cool effect where the colors blend and you only see the white, right? Our eyes only see the white when you blend them. So this is a real cool effect. And now you can change them very easily just at the click of buttons. So for this, we're going to go back to V3. And then another cool thing is I noticed Juna also said the up and down version. So I said, that's smart. Let's do that too. And with up and down, here's V3. And now you notice that the effect is going up and down rather than left to right. All right. So you go to V1, same idea, way more intense on V1. We go to V2, a little less chaotic. V3 is the norm. V4 is, way more contained. You start to see less colors actually because of that. And then V5. Now look, just, way very different. The more chaotic it gets, the more the color effect starts to show. And the cool thing also is you can stack these, right? So I could do V3 on top and V3 on bottom as well. So now we have top to bottom and left to right. And you could kind of mess around with these. And if you want to get real intense, V1 to V1, that just looks crazy, right? So you probably won't end up doing that, but you can mess around and stack these. So V3, V3, let's do V4 and V4. And, it might be fun to use these little effects as well. And then there's always the option, if you want to, let me put this on V3, you can put the original image. This can stay off. It doesn't need to turn on. This is usually used just to double click on this so you get to this. But you can actually turn this on as well. And you see this puts the original white over the letters. And it kind of kills the effect, but it still can be something different you might want to do. Another thing that might be cool, actually, if I think about it, a knockout option, right? And so someone in the comments was asking how to do knockouts. Just real quick, you double click the layer on this area. You go to blending modes, you go to fill opacity, go straight to 0. On the knockout, you hit deep and boom, it is now a knockout. That looks pretty crazy. And then you could also, that looks cool. That looks real cool. And then with this, you can just change the colors and mess around too with the hue saturation. So we know it's always that main color, but sometimes you might want to get something, ooh, like that. That's cool as hell. Look at that. Let me see. And that's your print file. Ooh, very, very nice. I'm keeping that right there. So once again, you get variations with these power templates. Look how nice that look. That looks really nice to me. Like, I know we all say this sometimes, but I think that would sell. That's a seller right there. You know what I mean? And yeah, so to go to the original, look, you should turn these two off, and now you're back at the original. So every time you make a design, you can get two versions automatically, just like this. Boom, 1 and 2. And that's cool. Hit save as PNG, and there's your original. You could take full designs. This is the other cool part. You could get designs from Ideogram, make some AI designs, and watch how easy, you know, you double click here, come in here. So let's get rid of these. Together, stays together. So let's Control S and see what happens with this one. And I'll always like that suspense. What's it going to look like? Is it going to look good? Is it going to look bad? Got to wait for this progress. And by the way, this can all be done on Photopea. Just to be clear, you don't need Photoshop for this. You can do this right on Photopea, completely free. It works exactly the same way. And look at that. A couple that rave together stays together. What about version 2? Boom. Look at that. Let's go with V4, I think might be a better one. Ooh, even that one. Ooh, so I'm blending V5 on up, down, and left, right. I think that's a seller. That's just my opinion. That I think stuff like this will definitely sell. And then the original, boom. So in the original, we probably want to get a little more extreme. Let's go to V3. That's up and down, and that's left and right. So it all depends. You know, right now I gotta learn the niche a little more to know what it is I think they would prefer. But yeah, look at that. Take off up and down and just keep left to right. Pretty cool, right? And then I basically just get a bunch of stuff that's already made and throw it in here. See, each sleeve, rave, repeat. Let's do that one. And boom, look at that. I made it so you should be able to go all the way to the edges with this, just so you know it should be safe. I hit Control S. This should definitely not go past the edge of the main canvas. And there you go. There it is. Let's try V1. Woo, that's crazy. See, even in V1, it still didn't go past the edges. It just touches it. But look how crazy that looks. You might upload one like that, right? Upload different versions. Let's see, V2. Maybe V2 is better. V3 is more contained. Let's see, up and down. Also looks crazy. Let's get real chaotic. Woo! Man, it starts to get a little ugly, right? I mean, you go too chaotic, but let's try V3 up and down, V3 on both sides. That's kind of cool, right? And then sure enough, we're going to have our version 2. There's version 2. All day, every day, right? Look at this. V5, V5 on version 2. This is a good double whammy. You upload both versions all the time. And you can still, like, what I'm going to do, because I like that hue point where it's at, I don't want to move it. So I'm going to put another hue saturation on top of that. And then this will be the one that we experiment with, right? So if you want to experiment with the colors, just use the second one on top and keep this one for those beautiful do not touch. I mean, unless you want to touch it, you can turn it on and off, though. And obviously, if the top one ain't on, you get those colors that I think are very good for this niche. But yeah, so we mess around with the colors with this on top. All we want to just slide that hue and get yourself some different stuff going on. You can do stuff with colorized too. Look at this. So this is with the original and using colorized effects with the original one. See what happens if we put like a whole, you know, big design. Boom. There it is. V3 left to right. If we want version, boom. Then we also have that one. Ooh, that looks nice, right? Let's try that with V4. Boom. Let me see, V5. I'm just here for the vase strap. You know, you never know. Some of the stuff could be real cool. Let's get version 2. I'm just here for the bass drop. So you see it takes everything, makes it white, gives it the effect. Let's see what happens if we put actual text on here. Hit Control S and boom. A little too extreme. Let's go to V4. Let's go to V4. So yeah, I think that might work. Hard to read, but I guess it should be hard to read, right? I think that might be a good thing. And then let's see what happens if we do version 2. I don't know. I don't know. I would have to find out if the niche would like something like this. It does look trippy though. And there's up and down. Looks kind of trippy though. I can't lie. That's kind of crazy. So let's see V5 up and down. Oof, too chaotic. I wonder if that will work, because you can clearly see the different colors, the RGB going on. Interesting, right? It might work. And this is the thing. When I do a new niche, I never know. So I'll start uploading just to test. Right? Like if someone were to buy this, then I would know the chaotic thing actually is a good thing. If no one, because this really stands out, people will see it. And if no one bought this, I'll be like, okay, they definitely don't like that. because it's very it's not subtle at all. All right, so maybe you can mess around with that if you were doing just text. And then you got these big whoop, and look at that. Not bad, right? Let's go to V3. Let's do V1. Oh, that looks crazy. Maybe too intense. Go to V2. Let's do V3. And yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, man. Let's go up and down. Ooh, I think up and down I like better. Yeah, because you can still read it and it's still a little chaotic. Oh man, this are crazy effects for real. I think that might sell. I think they like it. So I don't know. I'm gonna definitely do some testing in this niche and see what we got going on. Here's the up and down 3, version 3. Let's keep going. So this right here, that's what this is. I don't think this would have to be very subtle to make it work. And there we go. Let me see. That's V3. Almost can't tell. I mean, all right, that looks a little funky. So this might be too complicated, right? And that's why I put all the other ones. So V5 might be the only good one that works. You see, as you zoom in, it's there. But when you zoom out, it's more of a subtle effect. So V5 might be the way to go for these two. Look how kind of it looks very interesting, right? So I don't know. Do some testing for that one. Let me see V3. Up and down. That one might work. Right, but you could put whole designs in here. So you could go to Ideogram, make some, EDM designs and just pop them up in here. And that's it. And you got the effect. Press Control S. You now have the EDM effect. This is the quickest way that this is ever going to be done. Maybe, maybe not. Side to side, who knows? That could work. Let's see version 2. That one's interesting. Oh, that's a crazy effect. That's a pretty crazy effect. Up and down and side to side. Husband, dad, DJ, legend. Whoop. There it is. Let's get V1 for that one. Yeah, I want to go chaotic on this one. V2. V2 might be the wave. Let's see what happens if we do this. Getting interesting, right? Ooh. Nice. Let's add V5 up and down, maybe. Yeah, it gives it. There we go. V5 on both. What do you think? Yeah, keep it on, right? Yeah, it makes it pop. Look at that. That's dope. That is dope. Yo, I think you're going to get some sales off this. I really do. I think this is going to generate some sales, y'all. This is a great effect, man. I could go all day on this. Y'all see what it is, man. Big shout out to Juna from Detour Shirts. Always giving us value as usual. And I'm going to be using this now for a long time. I'm officially going to get in that EDM niche now. And I promise I'm going to make sales in it using this template. Juna, you a bad mother. So I wanted to give y'all a bonus. This is another one that I feel bad because I should have gave this to you way before 4th of July. It would have really been good for 4th of July, but there's still a lot of American holidays and evergreen stuff that this will work for. So the only thing you need to know on this one is that this white ones here that represent the stars, these smaller versions of the smart object, come right here. Under V1, it says stars group. You just turn that on and off like that. All right. So that sometimes I made that because it could get a little crowded looking and it might look better without it. So that's the one option you have on here is to do that like that. What are some of the different things you could do here? Here's just a few examples I'm gonna show you. So, you change it to a strawberry, right? So it could work out in this case. Maybe take those off and you decide whether those look good on there or not. Turn those off on this one. Basketballs, the little star basketballs in there. And maybe you want to keep it like that, So, and these do have a stroke around them, a knockout stroke in case they do get big enough to touch that. So if for some reason you wanted to make them bigger, I would just go here and increase the image size a little bit to, let's say, 5,000, and it becomes a little bigger. All right, so now we increased it to 5,000 pixels. Let's see what happens. Boom. And as you see, because I increased the image size in the smart object, now all the images are bigger, right? Now, I just wanted you to know that that is a possibility. You never know when you could try different things and, get different effects out of it. So you can increase the image size and then the images are bigger. And that's one thing you got to know when doing this, because it might look better if the images are bigger, or with certain ones, it might look better if they're smaller. Undo that. And now you see they're back to the normal size. And let's just see what everything looks like with the pause. And that's what it'll look like with the pause, right? Just to give you an idea of all the different things you could do. Boom. And there's our butterflies. Throw the little stars on there. And now we got our little, American butterflies, So you can do whatever you want with this. Don't forget, you can also just select all of these and just bring them down, right? So if you wanted to bring them out to the middle, and then that way you could put text on top or the bottom, right? Or both. So just know you move this thing around and do a lot with it. So this is another one. I just wanted to show you this one real quick. It's very basic, very easy to use, very fast to learn. Not much learning curve on this one. So I want to throw this in as a bonus. So if you got any value out of this, please like and subscribe. And remember, these PSD files are in the email list. No spam ever. Sign up. And until the next one, take care.